Welcome everyone, this is AndresRestart, and I am joined by Brandon from What About Nintendo, who has been gone for many years, eons even.
So many years, so many millenniums I've been missing, adrift in space, lost, gone.
Forever, really. I have told you, I had a family, I had kids, I named my little girl Brandonia after you, and it's been so long, buddy, but you're finally back, and E3 is upon us, right? And I think it's about time we kind of talk about Animal Crossing. Here's the thing, I like Animal Crossing, but I feel like you're more of a stronger, more recent Animal Crossing fan. Like, I played the GameCube version, I played the DS version, I enjoyed those, I played a little bit with the mobile one, right? But you played New Leaf on the 3DS a lot, so I feel like you're more of a modern, contemporary fan, so I feel like our opinions combined will be a more of a healthier mix, especially when we're going to be talking about what we sort of expect for Animal Crossing at this year's E3. And yes, everyone, we both expect to see Animal Crossing at this year's E3. You can book it. So yeah, this video is about our expectations and wishes. It's going to be a short little discussion video, so just stick around, guys, enjoy the show, and I guess let's just get started. But to get started, I guess we do both agree it's going to be at the show. I think it's going to... We may even open up I feel like there's going to be a Smash character reveal for sure, right? A DLC character at some point in the show, and there's going to be Animal Crossing gameplay reveal, right? Historically speaking, there's always a gameplay reveal for Animal Crossing at E3. So, I'm thinking one of those is going to be at the end, and one of those is going to be at the beginning.
Okay.
I feel like there's a pretty good chance we may open up the show with Animal Crossing. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm... Since we haven't seen anything of it, and there's, I think, a lot that they need to show, I think it'd be better for them to open it than rather to close it with a trailer, because a closing trailer usually doesn't reveal that much, and they usually don't dwell on it, so I think they're going to want to show more. Obviously, in the first direct, it's not, they have the treehouse and everything that they can show a bunch, but they're definitely, I think, not going to want to have, like, a short closing trailer for it, so I think it'll be more of an opener or in the middle.
Okay. Or in the middle. So, like, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to, decide, right, is that while I do think it makes sense for them to open it because fans are really, hasty about it, it's also the kind of game that they're going to want to talk about. Like, I think it's going to get, a deep dive, and for it to just be a surprise at the very end of the show, well, that doesn't leave much room to talk about it unless they just have that open up into treehouse footage afterwards, which I definitely think there will be no matter what happens. Regardless of when they show it off and how much they talk about during the actual Nintendo E3 Direct, they're gonna have gameplay during the treehouse.
Yeah, I also think Smash is a better closer just because they didn't guarantee. I feel like it's 100% that we're getting Animal Crossing. While you could argue maybe we wouldn't get a Smash character. That's not like a given. Like, I definitely think it'll be there, but it's not
It's not a given.
Animal Crossing. So
I bet $1 million.
Prize.
Right. I would bet $1 million that Animal Crossing will be at E3, right? But I won't bet $1 million that a Smash DLC character will it be at E3 because they're always kind of throwing us for a loop with it when it comes to those. But that's also expected. So, but I guess the other possibility, and again, this is more about Animal Crossing, so we won't focus on it, but they may have a new game to show off, like the Retro Studios game. That could potentially be the close for the show, right?
Right.
So, I mean, basically, I think we both agree that the beginning or the middle are the best times to show off Animal Crossing during the Direct. Yeah. So, when they do show it, though, what do you think we're going to see? Like, are we going to learn more about the game, or are we going to just get to see the graphics? Is the world going to be beautiful and expansive? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't think Animal Crossing has ever been a game to really push graphics, so I think they're going to go in more of a gameplay-focused trailer. I don't think it'll be, more of an overlook, panoramic and, scenery shots. I think it'll be a lot more gameplay-focused, show off a lot of the new mechanics that are going to be wowing us and stuff.
Right. But I do want to speak on the graphics a little bit. I think it's going to look better than Amiibo Festival, right? It's going to look maybe, along those lines, a little bit better than that. I think the world is probably going to be a bit larger, more expansive, more in-depth than previous games, right? It's the most powerful system yet, probably the largest budget Animal Crossing game yet. But I think those are all expected. Like, with New Leaf, right, they accomplished a lot in terms of how much how many more subtle details there were in that game as opposed to others. Like, for example, like the proportions of the actual characters, you could tell like who was a lot larger, who was a lot smaller. You could see the actual fur texture, like little details like that became a lot more apparent with New Leaf, and I expect details like that to become even more apparent with this actual HD Animal Crossing game that we're gonna get.
Right. I think, honestly, I'm not expecting too much more than Amiibo Festival. Maybe, you know, a little more detail or something, but I'm kind of expecting along those lines. If it's more than that, I'll be happy and I'll be, you know, all for it, but I'm not really expecting anything too crazy, you know?
Right. And I do agree with you that Animal Crossing isn't about the graphics, right? It's about the game and how it draws you and how the world is just an addicting alternate reality that is very charming, right? And I think part of that charm has to do with the amount of different things that you can do in the game and how they're all really cutesy and interesting. So, like, what kind of additions do you think we could see in terms of actual activities do you think we could do in the game? I had the idea that we'd have more jobs. Well, a lot of people have had that idea. We could have more jobs and things of that nature, more mini games and things like that. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I'm thinking, I feel like since Animal Crossing was on a handheld, I feel like the world was more designed to be played in smaller chunks, smaller amounts of time. Just pick it up, play it for a few minutes, put it down. So I'm thinking, since this one is on a home console, you know, it is a hybrid, so it is a handheld as well, but, you know, it's kind of the point of the Switch is to be a home console you can take on the go. So I think it would be geared more towards a home console type experience where there'll be geared towards longer play sessions. So I think the world will be bigger, more expansive. I think the mini games will be more in depth and things like that. So I'm definitely expecting a more in-depth experience that you're going to want to play for longer periods of time.
Okay. So I like the idea of a job system, being able to do different jobs, maybe even getting paid for them, right? I've joked about it many times about, like, what if you could be a detective and you're looking for a homicide case in Animal Crossing? Maybe that'll be a bit much, but I think you kind of get my drift, though, that there can maybe be activities that you can, like, sign up for, what have you, and they actually offer some sort of payroll, but they're just basically like mini games that you do throughout the town.
Yeah, I would definitely hope for like an actual job system, because in other Animal Crossing games, you'd like do random, like you pick weeds and you get fruit and you fish. There's no actual jobs. Nobody actually does anything there except the people on Main Street. Like, nobody actually has a job. They just live and somehow survive off of bells they find in random locations. So I feel like having an actual job system where people go and apply for jobs, and I think that would be a lot more fun and just feel a lot more natural, I think. But I think it would be definitely more suited towards those longer play styles that I was talking about.
Okay, it's interesting. So, it's going to be on the Switch, right? So that comes with a few implications. One, because it's a home console to an extent, that means that, hey, you're going to have a stable internet connection, right? So does that mean that they will focus on more online connectivity and features along those lines?
I definitely think there will be better online, especially since now we're paying for it. I think there are a lot more games are more focused on it. I mean, we just got that Super Mario Maker Direct, and there's a bunch more online features in that game than anybody, I think, was expecting. So I think they're going to do that same thing. I think there's going to be a lot more online multiplayer. I don't think it will be just mini games. I think we'll be kind of exploring and, you know, playing each other's talents. You could do that in New Leaf. It was just kind of more limited what you could actually do when they were over. So I think that they will definitely flesh that out a lot more.
So you think it could basically just be like, whenever someone's online, they are living in your town. Like, maybe your friend, like, maybe the town could be so big that you can have a town, and if someone's not online, they're just not home. Like, you're like, you go to their house, like they actually have their own, your own friend will have their own respective house in your town. You go to it, and it's just this house you can't get into unless you have a high friendliness rating or whatever. But you can't get into it when they're not online. Maybe they're just sleeping when they're not online, and when they're online, they awake and they're roaming around the town because it's also their town as well. So what if, like, we just have like a shared town, like a permanent shared town? Maybe you could have that as a separate mode or just a separate server, right, where their houses are available or not. But I think that'd be really interesting to see, where you could have friends that you literally just share a town permanently, and when you're actually not online, you're sleeping, but when you are, you're just roaming around.
Yeah, I think that would be super cool of course, I think they'd have a system in place where you could select people as like your best friend who can do a bunch of different things that normal people who visit can't do. I definitely think that would have to be an option, so people don't just come in and wreck your town.
Just dig holes everywhere.
Dig holes, chop down every tree.
Pitfalls.
Pitfalls
all
everywhere.
over the land. Yeah.
Can't walk 2 feet. So I would really like that. I mean, they kind of dabbled with that in New Leaf. I think up in Main Street there was an area where you could go and you could see different people's homes, but it was like a separate area and it was not a town. So I think going and actually letting people just share a town online would be really cool. I think some of the other home console Animal Crossing games let you play multiplayer at the same time, but I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's always been like some extent to multiplayer, but the idea of having it like permanent and really like in depth, like being able to do all these different things, like if they do have more of an extended job system, right? Mm-hmm. Like you like maybe that's a bit kind of like an in-depth mini game. Maybe it can be competitive, right, with your own friends while you're online. That could be kind of interesting to see. So I just think it'd be one other way that Animal Crossing could keep us invested and never actually leave the game and never actually have a real life, because if your friends are in your Animal Crossing world, it's like, hey, let's just hang out Saturday night in Animal Crossing rather than in real life. Like, right. I think it kind of makes a lot of sense. It scares the hell out of me, right? Animal Crossing is a permanent existential crisis for me, but, I think it would be a really good addition to the series. Right. So, that's pretty much like I kind of went through, like, I asked you questions about what I sort of expect, like, more activities, more mini games, more of a job system, maybe a more in-depth world, more detail, more online features like we discussed. But is there anything else that you kind of hope for or expect to see with this game?
Something that I think would be really cool is the ability to just have a bigger world that you can explore. And I think integrating this with that kind of material system that was in Animal Crossing Pocket Camp would be awesome. Like, you could go around and there's just a big open area, there's different environments, woods and rivers and mountains and different things, and you actually go around collecting and exploring different items that you can then bring home to either sell, or to, like in Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, you could actually build furniture out of different things that you collect. So I think that would be really cool if there was a way to do that. Maybe even connect it to where there are different towns that you can like visit along the way, like other people's towns would be really cool, like as an open world-ish kind of sort of thing. I think would be super awesome.
So I kind of like what you're thinking. So what if, like, as a compromise, so you don't have people online always in your particular town, what they do instead is that you have your town, and kind of like Pocket Camp, you can kind of go to different areas like the beach, the woods, and things of that nature, right? They're kind of separate from the base town, but it kind of is a bit more expanded, right? A bit more expansive. But also, it is kind of more like a continuous connected world. So there may be some paths that connect to other towns. And those towns are your registered friends. Like, maybe at first you can't get to them, there's like a roadblock, but that roadblock opens up when you register a particular friend that you want to play with. And maybe there's also like a central online hub where everyone can hang out separate from the online towns.
Yeah, they had that sort of idea on the Wii U where they had the Animal Crossing kind of hub thing that they experimented with that didn't really do much. So having that as an actual feature in an Animal Crossing game would be cool.
I really like that, though. I like the idea of it, if them making like multiple towns with each online friend that you have registered to participate with an Animal Crossing, with a hub world and other little side sections within a particular town as well. Of course, even if you're not online, the world's already more expansive than previous Animal Crossing games. That excites me. I think that's really cool, and I love the idea of them getting even more in depth, putting even more detail, a lot of more little things, right? Like, of course, like Animal Crossing New Leaf had different things you could collect, things from different games like Zelda and Metroid, which are just really cool to see. So them just going more in depth with that, because the Switch game is going to have a lot more storage space than the 3DS one, right? So there's going to be a lot more content in there, and it's just going to be kind of more Animal Crossing, which is what I think people want, right? That's exciting to me. And even though I didn't play New Leaf, mostly because of my 3DS issue. I've told you with the 3DS issue how all of my games were thrown away. It was a terrible disaster. But I'm really excited to get back into Animal Crossing. Hopefully it doesn't steal away my entire life when it does come out, but I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I guess we're pretty much done with this conversation, right? Like, what else is there to say? I mean, I'm sure some people in the comments might have some really good ideas. So, guys, please relay your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about what we're going to see for Animal Crossing Switch at E3, or if you don't think it's going to be there, but I really think you're going to be wrong about that if you're saying that.
Right.
So, anyways, everyone, thank you so much for listening and watching. Brandon from What About Nintendo, he's also a Nintendo news channel YouTuber dude. He's just come back. Check him out. The link to his channel will be in the description below. Is there anything else you want to add before we say goodbye?
Yeah, I'm just gonna, I've been on a hiatus for a long time, but now I'm back, kicking into high gear, gonna be coming out with all kinds of E3 content.
The E3 marathon begins.
Yes.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye.
Bye, guys.